Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you the items that I'm going to be looking for this year for 2022. Anything that's antique or vintage, those types of items. I typically find them, sorry I'm out of breath. I had to go check on the baby because I put him down for his nap, but he was jumping in there and then got stuck between the little things. His legs got stuck, so I had to go rescue him from that. So this is my second attempt at trying to film this video. But anyways, so what I can't even talk now, jeez Louise. Okay, so I wanted to share with you guys the items that I'm going to be looking for in 2022, and that's either with thrifting, going to the antique stores, shopping on Etsy, eBay, those places like that. And I just compiled a list of different things that I am going to be looking for this year for 2022, and things that I would like to add to my home decor. So, and I will pop up pictures on here to kind of show you pictures of the items that I'm going to be looking for. And I won't necessarily find all of these items. It's just kind of my list I'm going to keep in my phone or whatever to keep with me when I'm out thrifting or at the antique stores or looking online. Okay, so one of the first things I want to find are some ironstone pitchers, and like I said, I'll pop up some pictures for you of the items that I'm going to be looking for. But I love the idea of having a hutch full of white dishes. So you'll notice that I have a lot of white dishes on my list of things to find. And that's because I just think it's so simple and so classic, and you can use them for decor at all times of the year, and you can just add in pops of Christmas or spring, summer, fall, kind of things like that in with the white dishes. So I think that they're very timeless and classic, and something that you can use, like I said, all year round with sprinkles of other decor with it. So one of the things I want to look for are white ironstone pitches, white ironstone platters, like white ironstone like, I don't know, plates, tureens, those types of things. And then also like small creamers or sugar dishes, things like that, all that were ironstone and all just white. Those are some of the items that I'm going to be looking for, because I think that they would look really well on my hutch, which on my hutch I do already have quite a few white items. But then I'm also planning on making a plate wall, so I need some white ironstone plates for that. And then another thing that's on my list is some blue, brown, and red transferware. And I want these because I already have some brown. You would have saw that in my fall decor. I have some brown plates, and then I also found a brown gravy boat, transfer gravy boat, thrifting. So I kind of want to add to that collection because the brown I'm going to use for the fall, and then the blue is something that I'm going to use all year round. So I really just want to find some blue transfer plates, cups, bowls, things like that in the blue, and that's something that I'm going to display all year round. Like I said, that's kind of going to be my everyday color, sprinkled in with all the white pictures and things like that. And then I also want to find some red transferware, and the red is going to be for Christmas. And like I said, I'm going to look for plates, cups, pitchers, all those types of things in red as well, hopefully. And hopefully I'm able to find some. I haven't really found any in any of my thrift stores, and I don't really have any antique stores close by. So whenever we make trips to Edmonton or outside of where we live, I can check some antique shops, but it's not that often. So I'm usually finding myself buying a lot of those items on Etsy or eBay or things like that. So I'm definitely going to be looking for some transferware in those colors, blue, brown, and red. And then vintage baskets. I love baskets. I have baskets everywhere. I use them for decor. I use them to put things in, organize things. And honestly, they just look pretty sitting on like the top of your hutch or sitting out with some blankets in it, anything like that. I just love vintage baskets, and I don't always find a ton of them. I find them pretty hard to find where I live, but I do have other baskets that I have that are nice anyways, that I have thrifted and things like that, and they're not necessarily vintage, but I still like them and will use them. And then some other things are some cutting boards. I would really love to find some old cutting boards or bread boards. Like I said, those probably I won't be able to thrift. I will end up having to buy those online or at antique shops whenever I go to those. But I just think that they just add like a nice pop of neutral to any setting, I guess. So like in my kitchen as propped up against my backsplash, or even on my hutch with some white dishes in front of it, looks nice because it brings in some warmth to the hutch with all the white dishes. Instead of being so stark white, the wood will bring in some warmth to it, like I said. And then I am always looking for vintage books. I have a shelf that I built, I don't know, a couple months ago now, but I want to fill that with vintage books. I love decorating with vintage books. I have them, even like I just have stacks on my side tables of vintage books, and then I also have that bookshelf, like I said, and I want to fill that bookshelf with vintage books. So that's kind of one of the things I'm hoping to complete this year. I'm gonna give myself a year because I'm not gonna buy ones that are outrageously priced, because I have done that in the past, and to be quite honest, I don't find them to be worth the amount that I paid for those ones. When I know I can find them for a lot cheaper, and I have found them for a lot cheaper, so I'm just gonna keep my eye out for them when they're a good price and fill up my bookshelf full of vintage books. And then some other things that I'm going to be looking for are copper pieces. I have collected quite a few copper pieces already this past year, but I do want to add maybe a few more pieces just to kind of complete it, because I would love to do, I don't know, some kind of like pot rack with some copper ladles and pots and pans and things like that on it. I just think that those look so beautiful, and if I can find a picture of that, I will like show you here on the screen what I'm kind of like envisioning in my head for those. And I don't think that will happen in our house, the house that we're currently living in, but like I said in previous videos, we do plan on moving back to Nova Scotia eventually, and hopefully soon, and not too far off. And so I'm just kind of collecting those copper pieces for that, because when we move back to Nova Scotia, I really want an old farmhouse or cottage, something along those lines when we move back, something with maybe a little bit of land but not necessarily a lot of land, and something that's not in the city and is very country like. So I'm kind of saving those items for when we move into a house like that, but maybe I will display them in this house. I don't know, we'll see. There's not really a spot for me to display them in this house, but that is kind of my thought process when it comes to the copper pieces, because sometimes I can find them at the thrift stores for pretty good prices. So when I see them, I kind of tend to grab them when I see them. And the copper pieces aren't something that I'm going to be buying on Etsy or eBay or anything like that, because it is quite pricey to buy them on there until I know I have a place to display them. Because but like I said, if I see them in the thrift stores for a good price, I will pick them up. Sorry, just one second. My little guy is crying again, and he may be stuck, so I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. He was stuck again. He loves to get his little legs stuck between the railings, but he's kind of old enough now that if I put the mesh around, he moves it and still gets stuck anyway. So it's kind of like I can't win with that. So yeah, he's just always getting his little legs stuck in there and can't move. And yeah, anyways, okay, so the last thing I talked about were the copper pieces, and then the next thing on my list are some vintage stools. I love the look of vintage stools, and I would love to find some. I haven't found any at any of the thrift stores here, which I don't think I would probably typically find something like that at the thrift stores. I'm not sure, but if I ever go to an antique shop, I will probably look for something like that at the antique shops whenever I do get to go to those. But stools definitely are not something that I'm going to be buying online, because I just feel like it's too pricey. Like the shipping is going to be too pricey for a vintage stool. So I'm going to be mainly just looking in the antique shops for those. If I get to any this year, I hope I do, because we are going to make a trip to Nova Scotia, which again, shipping that back here, bringing it back in my luggage is kind of not ideal. But if I find one that I really truly love, then I may pick it up. We'll see. And then we do like to make trips to Edmonton, like I said, and there are some antique shops there that I could look for those. And then another thing are some oil paintings. I would love to find some oil paintings. Now, they can be really pricey, especially on eBay or Etsy or anything like that. And I have not seen any, well, I mean, I have seen some oil paintings in my thrift stores, but not what I'm looking for. So I think that one's gonna be a hard one to find this year for me because one, I find them pretty pricey, and I know they're beautiful and totally worth the money. It's just, I'm not sure if I will be buying a lot of those while I don't know. I don't know if I will be purchasing a lot of them, but I do love them nonetheless. And if I find one for a good price, hopefully I will be able to buy it or buy one. And then if I can't, my idea is to buy a lot of vintage frames and maybe get some prints off of Etsy that mimic vintage oil paintings. That's kind of my idea right now, to do that because realistically I don't want to fill this house with too much until I know we're moving like back to a house that I truly want to be in. So that's the hard part, when you want to buy so many things and you should probably buy them if you see them for a good price, but then like you're thinking, you know. The next thing on my list goes kind of with that, and that's the vintage frames, like I had mentioned. I would love to find some old vintage ornate frames. I think they're beautiful, and yeah, so hopefully I can find some of those either thrifting or in the antique shops, things like that. And then I can also put some, like I said, Etsy prints in them for now until I find good priced oil paintings to put in them to replace those ones. And then another thing that I'm going to be looking for are wooden utensils. So I love the old vintage potato mashers and like well-loved spoons and things like that. I just love having those, I just think they're so beautiful displayed in a crock on your countertop, and I just love them. So and you can use them, so that's kind of my thought right now. I do have a crock on my countertop now filled with stuff. I have some rolling pins in there and some wooden spoons and stuff. They aren't as well loved because some of them are brand new that I have just purchased from like HomeSense and things like that. So they're not well loved, but I would love to find some more well loved spoons and things like that. So yeah, so that's another thing. Oh, another thing I love are silhouette pictures. I think that they are so beautiful, and I have a lot of friends who decorate with them. Sarah's October Home uses them. Homemade Vintage. She has a few. There's some. Those people are on YouTube, so I will have them linked down in the description box below for you, because they also have YouTube channels, and you guys will love them because I love watching their channel. And Sarah's October Home I did a collab with a few weeks ago, and her home is just beautiful and I love it. So yeah, I will leave those two channels linked down in the description box below for you. But an Instagrammer that uses a lot of silhouette pictures is, I think her name is Megan. It's Megan D. Miller, I think. And I will also have a link to that down in the description box below for you. But I get a lot of inspiration from those Instagram pages and things like that. So actually I might do a video of Instagram pages or YouTubers that I like to follow that give a lot of good tips and have a lot of similarities in the way that they decorate as I do. So I might do that eventually as well. But yeah, so I will have those linked down in the description box below for you guys, because oh my gosh, they decorate with silhouette pictures and I just love it. So I have that on my list, and then I have two more items on my list. I don't know if I'll find these. I'll probably likely find these either at an antique store or a Facebook Marketplace could be a good place to find these two items as well. But the next two items on my list are a vintage dresser and a vintage nightstands. I would love to redo mine and my husband's bedroom, because I did redo it a few months ago. Actually, probably it's been quite a while now. But I did it in a boho theme, and after I did it in a boho theme, I just really did not like it, and I am realizing that boho is just really not my style. I very much love the farmhouse cottage vintage style. Like, I love antiques, I love vintage, I love the cozy cottage feel, and that's kind of because prior to doing the boho theme, I had a farmhouse theme, which I also still love. So once I changed it over to boho, I just never liked it. So I hopefully over the next year can find some things to make it a little bit more of a cozy cottage feel in there, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to do and over the next year. So I have vintage dresser and vintage nightstands is something that I want to find for our bedroom. If I do, I do. If I don't, it's not a big deal, but because right now I just have some IKEA nightstands, and I do have an older dresser that I had painted that's in there that could work for what I'm going for. So yeah, that's hopefully the plan, is to redo that room. And then I also want to redo Cooper's nursery, because right now I also did that in a boho theme, and like I said, I really realized with living with it for a little while now that it's really not my style. So that is something that I'm hoping to change too. But he already has a vintage dresser in there, and yeah, not anything else is vintage, but I would like to put some more vintage cottage feel into his room, whereas right now it's pretty much just boho. So that's kind of the plan, and those are kind of some of the items that I'm going to be looking for this year. And yeah, hopefully I find some of these items. I'm hoping to do a plate wall soon, because I did order some things from Etsy that were kind of pricey, but it's okay. I don't typically find them in my thrift store, so I'm willing to spend a little bit more money on Etsy to get those things, because I know if I wait and try to find them in my thrift stores, I probably will likely not find them, because I've been going thrifting now for a long time and I have not found any of those things that I'm looking for that plate wall. So I kind of just bit the bullet and ordered some stuff on Etsy, and hopefully it'll be here soon so I can do my plate wall and things like that. So there's going to be lots of projects coming up, and if you guys want to see any of those projects, let me know in the comments below so I can film those things for you as well. And maybe I will film them just to share my life. But yeah, so that's kind of, I'm just like looking at the wall that I'm going to be putting the plate wall on, and I can't wait to get them in so I can do it, because it's pretty bare right now. It's been bare since we lived here. So it's time to finally do something with the wall. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully it gave you some inspiration maybe for things that you might want to look for, something that I mentioned that you maybe never thought of, that you can look for in 2022, either thrifting or going antiquing or things like that. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, as it really helps me out, and definitely consider subscribing if you enjoy thrifting videos, decor videos, things like that. I do lots of those types of videos here on this channel, and I would love it if you guys would consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.